Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of Production Line. Hopefully this will be quite a long series on my channel. It's a game that is in pretty early alpha that I found through another YouTuber, and it is awesome. So it's kind of similar to Factorio in some ways, but it's very similar to Big Pharma, if you're familiar to that. It's actually made by the same people who made Big Pharma, and it may seem kind of like a clone of it, and in some ways it is, but I think it's different enough to not be, like an exact copy. So the premises here is you're trying to build cars. Essentially, you make a car manufacturing factory essentially, and it's pretty awesome. So you create these production lines, and there's like ratios and timings involved, which is kind of where it gets similar to Factorio, and it's just super cool. And it's like $10, I think. There's a link. There will be a link in the description to go check it out if you want. But yeah, we're gonna start a new game, and I would like to do this first one, except the problem is the floor tiles are like kind of a dark grayish, which I think is kind of bad for like YouTube encoding. I played this on stream, and people said that it was not really stream friendly, and it's pretty close to the same thing, stream and recording. So I'm gonna not do that one. We're gonna play this one. Now, even though it says mission, it doesn't actually give you a specific goal. It's pretty open world and open-ended, and you can't edit each of these too, which is cool. But yeah, so we're gonna play mission, and we're given a big factory floor here. Now, you can buy adjacent things, like you can buy this for $10 a square, and then you can buy these ones too. But we kind of have some things on the edges here, and these kind of smaller, more tall ones are our imports to import our materials, and then these other more garage door type ones are our exports, where we export the finished cars. So we have finances here. We started with $1.7 million, a little bit. Actually, we should pause because some of it's going away for rent and stuff. And we have power. And a quick clarification, even though this says 0 out of however much power, this doesn't mean we don't have power. That's indicating how much we're actually creating ourselves, right? So currently we're not making any power ourselves, so we're having to pay for it, pay the grid. And that's going to be in our expenses, and it's actually pretty pricey. So we're going to want to get some power up and running, hopefully fairly soon. You do need to research it. There's quite a lot to research, actually, which is pretty cool. But if we go into our build menu here, there's multiple stages, right? I mean, it takes multiple stages to build a car, and what's cool about this, what I like, is that the menu, the order in which these things are in the menu is the order you have to build them, essentially. And that's good because it just makes it easier to figure out. So you need your chassis assembly first, obviously, and then you fit the body parts on, your trunk, your roll cage, hood, windshield, so on and so forth. You paint it, you stick an engine in, you fit the accessories, you fit the electronics, you QA it, or QC it, QC it, and then export. So later on, if we expand this, later on, what you can do via research is unlock the ability to make specific components in-house. And what this does is it lowers your costs, right? Because what we're doing now, or well, once we build it, what we do is when we go to build a chassis, we're importing all the stuff needed for it. So we're importing the axles, the shaft, the undercarriage, the tank, same with the body, all this stuff. And those are pretty expensive. Once you unlock the research, you can make these products in-house, which means you're importing the raw materials rather than the finished goods, and those are a lot cheaper, the raw materials. So there's definitely some logistical stuff to figure out here. And there's ratios too, which I tried on stream to get them right to begin with, and I bankrupted myself like 4 times. So we're not going to do that initially. So what we're going to do is we need a resource importer. This guy just slides up against here and goes like that. So he's going to import our resources. And we need to start with chassis assembly. So if you see there, guys, it takes 25.75 seconds for this entire process to put the chassis together, right? And then this takes 63.35. This one takes 68.8, 55. So the ratio here would be close to 1 to 2. This actually takes more than 2, but so kind of like in Factorio, right? the better your ratios, the better your factory is going to run, or your production in this case. So ideally we would like one of these, two of these, two of these, two of these, and one of these. But these are really expensive, you know, 174 grand, 50, 134. We can't really afford both. So what we're going to do is we're going to place this guy, going to leave a space just in case, and plop him down. And one of my favorite things about this game is just the visuals. I absolutely love these graphics and the details and stuff. It's just really nice looking. So we have that. Now there's a couple things to keep in mind here. So this thing in the middle, this is where the actual car thing, the car goes, right? So our chassis is going to be built here and sent along this way. That's these conveyors. But for our materials to actually make the thing, right, is we need to import those over here. Kind of where this, you know, palletized thing is. And you bring those in with the resource conveyors, which you bring from here. But we'll do that at the end because we want to get our other factory set up, right? So we now have that. The next thing is fit body. And I'm going to leave a space. I could do this, and it will save on the conveyors, which is nice, but it will not allow us to really split it later without removing this. If I do this, because we're going to want a second one, right? As I mentioned with the ratios, we're going to want another one here, and this way I can split the belt. So we're going to do this. Just click, drag, super easy. Got that. Next part is the paint. Same thing, gonna leave a space. And it's really simple, you can just do this. So what I'm going for is to export our stuff over here. Because, I mean, we have an export here, but, you know, I mean, I could go like sideways or something. You can do this kind of however you want, which is cool. But, there's a few things to keep in mind here. So I think what we're gonna do here, guys, is we're going to import from this one and hit this, this, and this. And then the rest of the parts, the engine and the accessories, we're going to import the materials for those from over here. Because what I found when I did this on stream is it was really easy to get bottlenecked, right, on your materials. So, because this works kind of like if you have a mixed transport belt in Factorio. This may be something, a good way to explain it. If you have a transport belt, right, in Factorio with like iron plate, copper plate, the circuits and steel or something all in the same belt, you're gonna have problems because, you know, if something needs, you know, steel but it's backed up, like mixed in behind all this other stuff that the factory doesn't need, it's not really ever gonna get it, or it's gonna take a long time. And that's what happens here because this will transport all the stuff, but it doesn't like do it necessarily in the right order. So, you know, it's just gonna bottleneck, right? So it's good to have multiple imports, otherwise you will run into material restrictions, if you will. So we have our paint here. It's kind of like a car wash, but I guess they just super spray paint it. We have an engine, and again, I just want to leave a space just in case, right? Because for pretty much, yeah, for this one, and this one, we're gonna want two eventually. So then this guy goes here, and you do have to be careful which way you draw it because it does determine the way the belt moves. And I don't think you can turn it around. Yeah, I'm hitting R. I don't think you can do it once it's placed without getting rid of it. And then next, accessories. I am going to leave a space just in case, I guess. I don't, you know, just because. In fact, a little more because when you break these things down, it can take more space. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to fit. Probably shouldn't have done it that far away. Yeah, whatever. Because if you sell this, I'm going to be at a huge loss. So we're going to quality check. Boom. Conveyor. You idiot. You actually need to drag through. Conveyor. And then this one. Yeah, so this space was not ideal. Already making mistakes. That's great. So we want our conveyor, or our resource importer here. And we're going to just drag this. We'll actually start back here. So what I like about this part is it actually brings you into another view where you can just see where this is going, and these red squares, right, indicates where it needs to go, which is really helpful. It's going to do that, and it can cross over stuff too, which is even better. So I'm just going to click. I don't really want it doing that, but I'm going to go here and there. So boom, that's done. And then this one we're gonna come in from the other side, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I'm missing, I don't know. I felt like I was missing one. So then this guy, we're gonna drag, we're gonna like that, and then this guy is gonna come over to here. And this just splits, right? So that's fine, I think. It's kind of, did that not actually, the fuck? Did that not actually connect? There's like no connection here. Oh, we'll find out. We'll find out pretty quick. So we're importing our materials, and we just need an export doohickey. So we want our export. I'm just gonna go over here. Looks like it has to go right smack dab against it. Gonna bring in a conveyor. This is gonna be pricey. Yeah. And that should take care of that. So once we start this up, you'll see stuff importing here. And it's cool, it tells you what is importing and how much. And one thing I really love about this game is that it actually shows the stuff happening, like, as it happens, if that makes sense. So a lot of games, you know, it'll be like, all right, well, you know, we're building a, you know, the front axle, and then we're building the drive shaft and stuff, but the whole time it just shows the same graphic, and then it's just like, poof, at the end the thing's like complete. This actually shows, for the most part, the stuff actually happening. There's not much to this, so it was hard to tell, but this one, the body, it'll actually show each part being added. You can see that shows it now visually. And this top bar is your overall progress, and each one of these is essentially equal to one of these, so it's like, you know, each part that it's adding. So it's doing the front bumper and actually adds it. It's just super cool. Thank you, autosave. And then that's doing that. This guy's moving along. So if we look at our expenses, power will go up because stuff isn't really going full yet. But that will be expensive, so we will want to generate in-house power as soon as possible. Now, one thing I really love about this is these graphs, right? Because these can be really helpful. So it shows your requirements, it shows what you have a stockpile of, but then here is kind of a pie chart of how things are actually working, right? So mostly it's running. It's waiting for resources a little bit. I prefer for this to get to 0 or 1%, but overall this is really good. It's running most of the time, and that's what we want, right? So, you know, this one is waiting for vehicle. Obviously, it's waiting back here, and running. Now, waiting for resources is pretty much non-existent, and that's what we want. Now, if we had run, right, if we'd run this all the way through this, snaked it all the way through here, we would definitely be having throughput issues. And that's the advantage of kind of having multiple inputs. And I don't know what the hell these things are, like freaking huge funnels or something, but this guy's working. We'll bump the speed up a wee bit just so we can watch this. So it's dry finish, you know, waiting for it, literally waiting for paint to dry. And then they're gonna move on to the engine. Now, I'm not a car building expert, right? But if it were me, wouldn't you think you'd want to put the engine in before you paint the thing? I mean, again, I don't know much about car building, but I find it hard to believe that they can get these engines in here without even slightly scratching any part of the car and stuff. So I would think you'd want to put like all the stuff in the car and the engine in the car before you actually paint it. But who knows? You know, I mean, they gotta jam seats in here and a horn and mirrors and stuff. They're not gonna scratch the car. That's really loud, actually. Jesus. So he's moving along, almost done. He's fitting the lights. Need some headlights, that's for sure. And these big ass blow horns here. Materials coming in. Fitting the seats, fitting the windscreen, which I'm not sure if that's a windshield, because I think there's a windshield too. Maybe that's the back windshield. I don't know. It's running, waiting for vehicle. What was that other one? Waiting for line. Okay. So again, we're not really having any waiting for resources, which is really good, guys. So this guy's gonna zip on down here, and this is kind of our marketing, I guess. Export it, and we're gonna be prompted for this. Perfect. So new model of car. This is our first one. When you start adding, like, because you can add different features, right, guys? You can add, like, well, whatever they are. I mean, I don't know them all, but you can add different features, which makes it a different model, and then you can, you know, make it more expensive and have a different name and stuff. This one we're gonna start, which is XT1. For future ones, since I'll be more prepared, for future ones, my patrons get first dibs on the name, just due to their patron level. You know, they get their name in the game, and then after that, if you guys want something named, I will ask for those. But yeah, so this one we'll just do XT1. Nice kind of bluish. And now this is where we need to set our price. So this is interesting. So this is apparently a fair price, a sale price, but in the QA, I guess that adds to it. Okay, yeah. So kind of what this indicates is how much we're actually going to get in profit, right? So if we just sold it flat out for whatever the hell it wanted, this amount, we wouldn't make any profit. We'd pretty much break even. We wouldn't be coming out ahead. Obviously, that doesn't make sense. So we're going to want to bump this up to actually get some profit. I've watched some other people play, and I've, again, played a little bit myself on stream. And I think like 40 in the 40s is okay. We'll start with like 42 if I can actually get there. I really wish you could, like, oh, kind of can scroll wheel it. So essentially, when it's all said and done, we make $6,800 profit from the whole thing. So this is kind of how much it costs us to make. So we're gonna save this, and you can edit the like premium or whatever at any time. So he shoots out there, and then it shows we have one here. So this is our back stock. This is how much we have unsold stock. Obviously, if you get a lot, you probably want to lower your price. And thank you, autosave. But we'll see how that goes. So now if we look at our expenses, power, you'll notice, is you know, more than $7 grand an hour. Every day we're paying $16,000. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, this is pretty much what we're making for a car. So maybe if we make a car an hour, we're paying for our power and that's it. So we definitely want to start making power in-house. Luckily, we still have $750,000. It looks like they're selling pretty darn quick, so I think I may, if you uncheck that, you can change this. I'm gonna bump this up to like 46% at least. And again, the ratios, you can see we have a massive backlog here of chassis. Again, that's because this takes 25 seconds to make, and this one takes 63. Once we get more money, we want to add this on. And yeah, so like you're probably wondering, sitting there like, External, you have, you know, $870,000. Why aren't you adding more on? Well, the thing is it fluctuates, you know, because you're like constantly spending money, but the cars only, you know, they only make so fast and only sell so fast. So if I get too low, I will definitely go bankrupt. I've experienced that multiple times. So one thing we can add, though, that won't really destroy us is some, like, research, right? These research offices will obviously allow us to just get research. So what do we want these? I think I might want them. Oh, we're going to want those. Could stick them over here, but this might get in the way of future stuff, so I'm going to stick them. Can I rotate these? Perfect. I'm going to stick them here. We don't really have an export slot here. We do have stuff we can buy, but I could always move these. So we're going to kind of stick these like here. And these cost how much now? 50,000 or 49. I guess we'll start here. No research. Shut up. I think the first thing I want to grab is power, because power is expensive. Research now. Boom. So these dudes are, you know, making diagrams, filling on the computer, microscopes, all that good stuff. They're researching. And actually, yeah, I mean, I think we're making a pretty good profit. These materials are being sent here. Yeah. Are you short on materials yet? Waiting for vehicle. Okay, because this takes 55 seconds, and this one takes 27. So again, it's like a 2-to-1. I suppose we could add a bit more on. I'm a little bit worried, to be honest, guys. Last thing I want is to go bankrupt within like the first episode of the YouTube playthrough. That'd be embarrassing. But yeah, so Actually, can we import stuff here? It's like random pallets here. I don't think so. So the cars still seem to be selling pretty fast. I mean, they sit here for a minute or two, but overall pretty good. You know, this guy's done. They're different colors, which is cool. Well, it's not painted yet, but once it gets there, it'll be a different color, I would assume. So these are importing. Now, see, now this guy's sitting here for a little while. One thing I wish we had, and I'm sure they'll add this, the game does seem to be pretty actively developed. In fact, there was actually an update like right before I started recording with some new features and bug fixes and changes. One thing I wish there was, though, was like a time, right? Like a date, hour thing, because, you know, I don't know how long it's been. We did just sell one car, you know, so, I mean, they're selling-ish. I suppose we could be ballsy and add on some... Oh, dear. Here we go again. I mean, okay, yeah, let's just do it. So we're gonna fit body, and I'm gonna go broke in the process. Yay. And kind of paint. Luckily, these are not as expensive as the others. I mean, that one was the most expensive by far. Fit engine. I swear, man. I swear, if I go bankrupt, well, you guys will never let me down. Let it down, and I can't talk, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing my mind. All right, so then this one, this is the one that takes like 20-something seconds, right? Yeah. So now what we want to do is we want to build this and like connect it to there. So you can merge them, you can split them, but wow, thanks. There's no conveyor. This is actually where it gets expensive. This is where we have a problem. And this is also where we may run into resource shortages, I would imagine. What the frick, man? Are you what I don't know why it like wanted to go that completely random path. That makes no sense. But sure. We might want like this one to also come into here. We'll have to see. I would imagine these are gonna be some lack of stuff. I mean, it's higher than it was. You know, because it doesn't necessarily import it in the correct order of how the thing's working, so at least this takes a while, right? So this has a nice big backlog of paint barrels, and this is pretty backlogged. But hopefully this should speed things up. Now, obviously, we did have this backlog, guys, if you remember, so this will take a while to clear up, or just won't, because this is actually double the time of this. But this should at least help us output cars quicker. I mean, we don't have any just like randomly sitting here, which is really good. We're not bankrupt yet, although our power is going through the roof, man. Holy crap. Power, 12,000 an hour, 57,000. Oh my gosh. We need some power like now. How's this thing going? Not even a third of the way there. God damn it. These dudes are slow as hell. What are you even doing, man? Come on. Because he's like standing there picking his nose. Or his beard. You idiots. Alright, well, I think that's a good time to end, guys. We got quite a bit done. But yeah, so what you can do, right, is you can like research this stuff to split these into more refined processes and make the parts in-house. And that's probably what we'll work on next time. But you can add, obviously, new features to the car, like driver assistance, security features, environmental convenience, entertainment, you know, in-car music. Are you telling me these cars don't come with a music player? Who the hell would buy that? Wow, these are some pretty stupid people if they're just like buying cars without radios. Like, come on. Anyway, guys, I think that'll do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. If this, you know, looks like something you're interested in, there's a link in the description. Definitely go check it out. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I do hope you're enjoying. If you are, feel free to leave a like. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you all. And do take care.